Good morning, Professor. Good morning, everyone. So we as a team came to update you all about the knowledge management system which we have recommended to the client through a proposal to clean the comparison of MS SharePoint and Microsoft 360. These are the team members, Michael, Prabhjot, Pratibha, Vincent, and myself. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Michael.
I already put introduction. It's in introduction already. Are you not able to see it?
Okay. Sorry, can you stop recording? I'll start again. My bad. My bad.
Can you see the changes of the slides?
Yes, yes, yes.
I couldn't stop the recording. Wait a sec. I'll try to leave. So let's record again. So just make sure everyone could see the screen.
Yeah.
Start.
Good morning, Professor. Good morning, everyone. So we as a team have came here to give a proposal to a client for a total parking solutions with regards to a total management system, in which we will be recommending Microsoft SharePoint in comparison to Document 360. We are the team members, Michael, Prabhjot, Pratibha, Vincent, and myself. So over here, I will give you a brief introduction about our project, which basically says about the best way to manage a digital transformation is with a combination of tools. A digital adoption platform might not be already in place for the efficient management of digital transformation. Changing the older outdated technology in a landscape to remain competitive is essential for digital transformation will affect every aspect of business. The management of an organization change as complex as technical transformation is, which requires planning and specific tools. Yeah, the digital transformation is beneficial in using KMS. KMS is nothing but knowledge management system, especially when Microsoft SharePoint can be deployed to excel the organization. As a team, we have suggested a system which can be very beneficial to the client. It's nothing but Microsoft SharePoint in regards to ongoing problem of this business. The benefits of using Microsoft SharePoint is business-specific customization is available, managing documents collaboratively and centrally, secure electronic environment, and support from highly skilled professionals. So over here, I will give you a brief comparison between Microsoft SharePoint and Document 360, and based on that, we will conclude the conclusion that SharePoint is much better than Document 360. Like there are different parameters like
Kind of technology is needed in that organization. To implement the process, the proposed solutions, the company will require cloud storage, which are Document 360 and Microsoft SharePoints. The potential of exponential data expansions and storage efficiency for consumers has piqued a lot of people's interest in outsourcing data to cloud storage providers. In compared to replications-based cloud storage, coding-based cloud storage may provide a more secure and rapid answers while using less capacity. Long-term codes are well-known examples of rateless code family. they are useful to enhance the efficiency of storage system with well-distributed data. 360 Knowledge has the following methods and technologies, which are the following: K-based portal, data storage and transfer rate, capabilities of conducting searches, a feedback mechanism, working as a team, scalability, branding modification, and use of a white labeling and insights. To compare with MS Microsoft SharePoint, it is often used by business of websites developments. It is a safe hub for coordinating the storage management, disseminations, retrieval of data across several terminals. The only thing you need is a web browsers such Chrome's, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, or Internet Explorer. According to Microsoft, SharePoint has a variations of products such as SharePoint servers for the newest features. Organization may install and operate SharePoints on premises with Microsoft Office 360 Enterprise. SharePoint Designs 2013 are free software last published in 2013. And the last thing is OneDrive Syncs. A desktop tools enable offline documents synchronizing from team sites on OneDrive for business and educations. Now let's talk about the cybersecurity. To compare security of two software, Document 360 are using parameter security, encryptions, access controls, DDoS protections, and MAL to protect the data. While Microsoft Office 360 standards are anti-phishing, anti-spam, and anti-malware protection security for devices. Protections against sophisticated threats and data encryptions are just some of the extra features available in MS SharePoint's Premium.
Thank you, Michael. I'll be taking care of the challenges and the proposed mitigations which are planned to adopt Microsoft SharePoint. Since every knowledge management system comes with some of their own challenges, similarly, even with SharePoint, you too have several challenges. The first challenges which we mostly encountered is the building business applications that takes times and efforts. Now, every business has their own curated applications, their own curated requirements, and hence curating based on their requirement becomes time consuming, and it provides a lot of efforts. This can be mitigated. This can be mitigated by providing it to the external customers and helping the Microsoft service provider itself to taking help of them itself to manage this. The second challenge is understanding the nuances between similar software. For example, SharePoint and OneDrive. Now here, ShareDrive is again a sharing application where it shares not only the files, even the applications amongst each others in the employees, and and at a time a group of people can join that. However, in OneDrive it is a individual level of sharing where again the sharing happens. So this kind of application which is quite similar, it becomes quite confusing for when employees are handling it for the first time. Security and sovereignty issues and disaster recovery. Now, talking about the third point, which is very important, that is the security and sovereignty issue. The security and sovereignty issue is very important because issues with any confidential data leak can be a big threat for the organization. So, though Microsoft provides a lot of threat protection features, however, these threat protection features are by and large for entire Microsoft 365 and not for a specific software, particular application. That becomes a little cumbersome for the organization. But using a multi-console admin controls will make it easier for the employers. Talking about the next point, that is talent availability and user adaptability. Talent availability is a major challenge again because not there will not be a talent who would be 100% well versed with all the applications of Microsoft SharePoint, and hence company may be dependent on the external service provider, that is the Microsoft 365 managed service providers who provide 24/7, 365 days support for their application understanding. So, of course, this is one where you can take a help of user adaptability because again the application is quite new. There will be a lot of challenge for the employees to get adapted adapted to this new system. However, with ongoing training sessions, it will make them easier and more adaptable to the software. Understanding the right troubleshoots. Sometimes when we are new, we don't understand where exactly this troubleshoot is coming from. The same is going to happen with when the employees are going to handle it new, because there it's a myriad of multiple software which Microsoft brings, and troubleshooting one application's issues becomes problematic at that time, and hence again an export would be seeked, which would be a Microsoft service provider, the best option to deal with it. Now, regular performance monitoring. Yes. Now, after everything is in place and the smooth functioning of the performance is very important. We need to understand whether the troubleshoots which are coming from the employees are common and it's repeated or not. If these troubleshoots are repeated, that has to be arrested and or informed to the service provider so that they rectify forever, because this has been a common technical glitch. Now, with all these things, the next challenge which I'm talking about is the service provider's dependency becomes huge. Now, everything we deal with, every understanding we have with the software, it all comes from the service provider. However, we cannot forego with this, but the only mitigation we can do it by over the period of time, we will be having well versed idea about it. Lastly, adapting to the ongoing new functionalities. No, because Microsoft keep updating their software, a lot of new functions get keeps on adding, and with this new addition functionalities, there can be a challenge in repeatedly adapting to these ongoing challenges. But of course, with over time, as well as ongoing trainings will definitely help this. Last but most important, that is the budget and investment plan. Now, the major challenge for organizations, especially with total parking solution, is the budget crunch. Considering they are just new in the market, and hence the investment would be limited. And if the investment is limited, definitely you cannot go for all the features. You have to be limited to the features. Otherwise, it may go out of budget, and that may again become a problem. So, having an objective is very important. Talking about the changes which the company may require in their business processes to adopt Microsoft SharePoint. The first, basically, there are not major changes required when you adopt Microsoft SharePoint. They are very minor and that can be arrested. But at the same time, understanding it is bit cumbersome to implementation of the process. So understanding the proper process of implementation is very important. So it has to be planned thoroughly. So while planning the entire process change in the system, you have to take care of these 8 steps. The first is reviewing the current processes and systems. So we need to understand whether the current and process and system are adaptable to Microsoft or not. There are certain redundant software or intranet services which may not be compatible. So we need to rectify those things, establish stakeholder responsibility. Now, for everything, there has to be one stakeholder responsible so that he takes a key control on it. Talking about selecting a right SharePoint site architecture and components. Now, which architecture and which component fits the right to your business is what the stakeholders' responsibility to take care of and analyze. Talking about the next point, that is estimating budgets, timelines, and scope. Now, you have to define your goals and objectives so that you will be able to estimate your budget. How much timeline do you have to implement this so that the entire scope is clear and the implementation is smooth. Schedule implementation tasks. So every task of should be scheduled uh, based on the timeline and hence can be deployed. Now, deploying configurations and setting. While deploying, you will find a lot of issues with respect to data privacy. Now, make sure when you are having a deployment, the data privacy contract has been signed so that the deployment configuration and setting is clear. Then comes testing the implementation. So at a pilot level, you have to test the implementation so as to understand the smooth functioning of the process. And then comes the last point, which is rollout of the entire solution. That's all about my part. I would then hand it over to Prabjot.
Thank you, Pratibha. So my topic is change management process. So communication tools play a vital role in successful adoption of change. There are four phases of change management. The first one is planning and sponsorship. So executives should communicate values and benefits of change to employees actively. And the next is raising awareness. So awareness should be raised among employees by informing them about change and inspiring them to adopt the change. So next phase is learning. Proper training should be provided to employees so that they can understand the system well. And the next is readiness and adaptability. So readiness of the employees to adopt the change should be assessed. Okay. So the suitable department to adopt this change is that the department that deal with real-time data um, should be taken as as the department that is important to adopt that change. So employees should those employees should be selected who have a elevated level of expertise and ready to learn new things and skills. So organization need that software that does classification and segmentation of information based on user groups. Next slide, please. So the training plan for the active for adopting the change is that the employees should be made excited about learning new skills, and employees should be encouraged to work in teams with the collaboration of each others. So managers should investigate training needs of employees using analytics. And the last one is practice brainstorming. Online discussions should be encouraged to avoid monotony and getting proper feedback. So I will handle this slide to next slide to Vincent.
Next, we have the cost estimates. So, developing a project budget, formulating a work plan, and organizing and managing new resources require cost estimates. Businesses have limited cash to invest in each project, as a budget is crucial for controlling them. A SharePoint solution must also have a well-planned user adoption strategy, and a strong using adoption implies a valuable solution. SharePoint implementation costs can range from 20,000 to 200,000 depending on the solution's scalability, integrations, and revisions. And a company must also consider development expenditures in addition to development charges. So on the next slide, we have a high-level overview of some of the expenditures linked with the SharePoint system deployment. So the high-level cost estimate would be around 31,500. And kindly take note that the cost estimates may change, and allocating a 10% management reserve for the project's total cost would be advisable to combat all these uncertainties. And following on the next slide, we have other important facts and challenges. So it is important to note for transparency and communication, the items we have listed for the implementation cost considerations. And these are licenses, hardware and infrastructure, IT staff, security tools, and third-party software. And also we have listed the strategies to boost the return on investments. First is to utilize the maximum potential of the platform to develop a transparent IT governance, removing defunct websites and duplicate content, and implementation of standard requirements. SharePoint is a popular document and collaboration platform, but it has limits. So isolated social networks, business search, infrastructure, and support costs are the common problems and difficulties. Lastly, in conclusion, we think TPS should deploy SharePoint. A SharePoint isn't a normal intranet because it allows internal and external file exchange. Total Parking Solutions Incorporated can link SharePoint with workflow, content, and business analytics applications. And lastly, more than 200,000 enterprises and 190 million people use SharePoint because of its versatility. Additionally, SharePoint helps business share and manage material information and applications across the workplace. And Total Parking Solutions Incorporated should use SharePoint since the benefits outweigh the costs, and this software would manage and secure data and knowledge. That would be all for us, and thank you.